Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Man, oh man, was it a rough past couple days, Mike?
Right?
Uh, I gotta say, it's 100% better today with having heat in the studio.
Yes.
Welcome to the Two Dum Yinzers. This is episode 677. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Mike. Good morning to Derpy. Oh, wait a minute, Derpy's not here.
Of course he's not here.
I'll get into him in just a second, but
Well, why
here
would he be here?
here at the studio. It was very cold, and I always say, like, why is it that the furnace always goes on the coldest day of the year? And then people's stupid rebuttals usually, well, it's not going to go in the summertime. Well, no shit, it's not going to go in the summertime, but it's always the coldest day of the year. There is a Arctic blast going through the United States of America over these next couple days. It's going to have feet of snow in Louisiana. The only place that's not going to be
Ooh.
affected by this is South Florida, I guess. Everywhere else in this country is going to be affected by this winter storm, I guess you could call it, over the next couple days. But we got a little taste of it firsthand early on because, again, here at the studio, you can see your breath. It was not fun, but we did get it fixed. Um, but that's what happened. That's where we were
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, I stopped over to the studio. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? It was not
I was
pleasant.
It was not pleasant.
You know
Um,
what sucks about it too? Like we diagnosed the problem. We knew what the problem was, but there was like two components on there. It could have been, and it would have been like a $20 fix. I got to
yeah.
call the professional and turn it into a $200 fix. But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the $200 fix where I didn't mess something up. I'd rather pay the money.
So there you have it, guys. We got the furnace fix. The furnace is such an odd piece of whatever it is because it looks like just a bunch of sheet metal crimped and turned and bent in ways to just make this odd shaped thing sits in the corner of your basement.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know. Don't you think at some point there would be some kind of updated version of the furnace? How there's updated version of everything else you could, yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
But if it works, why fix it? The only thing that's gonna
That doesn't work. That's the thing.
well,
It those things.
it runs so
Here's the
many
studio.
times.
What three
Eventually,
in
it's
the
gonna
past
fail.
3 years? We had to call them out 2 times in the past 3 years. That
Yeah.
don't that doesn't seem like it's working to me.
Oh,
And only and
some of
only
those
one
little.
person on the planet knows how to fix these things. And that's the guy
Yeah.
you have to call, and that's the guy's going to charge you $500 a visit. And why aren't these things easily uh fixable? You know what I mean? I don't know,
Right.
like a car. You
Like I
expect us
like I
to,
said,
I don't know.
I kind of knew the problem, but I didn't want to mess it up.
It's like with electric. If you don't know what you're doing exactly, don't piss with it. That's all I need is a
Yeah.
house burning down, or and that's what people they
Oh
they
yeah.
start. I don't know. Some people are just more haphazard than I am. I'll think to myself before I would touch an electric project. I would think it over a million ways, and it would end up not even getting done. But
Yeah.
there's just guys that are good. They just hop in, put wires together, and make it happen. Again, I don't want to be the one that's um, to blame for setting a house on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Good morning, Fuel the Stew.
What
What's
up?
going on, my man? He says the flock of seagulls are eliminated. Ha! I guess it has been an eventful past couple days since we've been on last. Uh, let's get started with some AFC, or let's get started with some NFL championship weekend participants coming up here. A little bit about the divisional round last weekend. The games that started on Saturday, the first game was Kansas City against Houston. The Chiefs win this game 23-14. Later on in the day, I'm going to go with the Redskins this week. I like the Redskins better than the Commanders. I'm going to stay with the Redskins. The Skins, they beat the Lions 31. My goodness, this one had to be the upset of the year in the playoffs. Of course, we will see going forward if that's the case. But as of right now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you could
Ooh.
get a bigger upset than what we just seen in that Washington Detroit game. Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles, they played the Rams. They win 28-22. And finally, the final game of the weekend was between the Bills and the Ravens. The Bills win 27-25, sending the Ravens home, sending the Bills to the AFC Championship game to face off against the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs are going for three Super Bowls in a row to win. That's insane. Never been done before in the history of the game. But you know what? This Buffalo Bills team will be in the way. This Buffalo Bills team has been the team that I've said will be in the Super Bowl for a very long time. And I think they are going to win this weekend and will go on to play in the Super Bowl against, I'm hoping, Mike, the Redskins. I want to see a Washington Buffalo rematch from Super Bowl 26. Maybe this time around the Bills will be a little bit better off. Of course, remember they played them in the early 90s and it got blown out. But I personally want to see, Mike, since my Detroit got knocked out because that was my other pick.
Yeah.
I'm changing my pick. I'm changing it to the Buffalo Bills versus the Washington Commanders. That's what I'm going with. I think the other two teams are I'm just tired of seeing the other two teams at this point, Mike.
I see. I'm the complete opposite. I want a rematch. I want Philly and KC. I want to see that Super Bowl again. Because I do.
Philly's
I'm
lame.
one of those weird. They are lame, but they got Saquon, and I like Saquon. I like to see him get a Super Bowl, but I don't want to see Philly get a Super Bowl. I want to see KC go for the three-peat because I love what it's doing to everyone's minds. And every time they win, people get more and more deranged. I want to see more and more of that because it brings me joy and happiness. But I don't want them to get that fifth Super Bowl. So, and I don't want the Bills to get one because I don't like them. They're a choke artist. I don't want the Washington, whatever name they are this week. I don't want to see them win. I don't want to see anyone win. I want to see I like to see Jaden Daniels win, but I don't want Washington to win. I want Saquon to win, but I don't want you
don't want anything. What's going on with you?
I really don't know who I want.
You have a problem with everything. You have all kind of issues.
I do.
What's your problem?
I'm glad the Lions lost. That made me happy. I do have a lot going on. But you know what?
And the following is the one team that nobody can really afford to win anymore. What's that?
Yeah, I know. That's the kind of one I want to. I you know what? Screw it. I'm going all in on Kansas City. I'm all in, baby.
I do want to say good morning to Ralph as well. Good morning, Ralph.
What up,
Ralph? That's an interesting point. I don't mind seeing Kenny in the Super Bowl because if it is a Philadelphia Buffalo Super Bowl, there is a chance that it could be a Mitch Trubisky versus Kenny Pickett at some point during that game. You never know. Any given play. What a Super Bowl that would be. The Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at home licking our wounds while those two clowns are playing against each other in the Super Bowl. What an amazing time that would be to be a Steeler fan. Geez, oh man. Can you imagine if that's the case?
And it would be like the best they would ever play, and they would never come close to that level again. They both throw for 300 yards, multiple touchdowns, zero interceptions. It would be mass pandemonium. Steeler fans would be freaking out. You know what? Screw it. I want that Super Bowl. I want that scenario to happen. I'm all for the chaos right now. If I can't root for the Steelers, I want chaos amongst the fan base.
Feels this is Mike started playing ping pong. That's what's wrong with him. I agree.
No, I didn't. But it's table tennis.
Good morning to Jen as well.
What up, Judd?
Good morning to Jen as well. Let me start. Let's talk a little bit about. Okay, well, you could calm down now. We got to talk a little bit about football here.
I'm trying.
So the guy that we all want to thank, I guess, maybe the hero of this playoffs is no more, I think, other than Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews helps the Baltimore Ravens continue their choking ways. Once again, this team choked once again. The best offense in the league. This team had the two-time MVP. This team had I think. But all this team managed to do was get one round further than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have all the problems in the world. So, I mean, does this tell us that we're maybe not as far off as we thought, or does it just tell us that it confirms that Baltimore is a choking team, and their conspiracy theory on every 12 years and every 28-year-old quarterback and this and that, and they're going to win this year? That's gone. But I think I know where the real problem is. We figured it out. I'm watching the game. I'm watching all that they have going on. And I think I figured it out. I know why Baltimore choked. I know why.
Why
Because they
is
did the
that?
terrible towel thing again. Because they stomped the terrible towel again. That's the only thing that makes sense. Again, you have the two-time MVP. The guy across from you hasn't won an MVP. So obviously, and again, the number one offense. But the only thing that makes sense, guys, is they choked because the terrible towel. They're stomping it again. They think it's funny. And you know what? Every time they've done it, something like this happens. Mark Andrews basically has the same exact play that he had against us a few years back, where he drops the ball, where he could have won the game, at least tied the game. I can't remember the exact situation, but he maybe they'll think about running that play next time they run it. It has
Oh,
certainly screwed them, and in this case, it screwed them from advancing to the AFC Championship.
yeah.
So, uh, Mike,
And
I can't, I wouldn't want to be Mark Andrews in the city of
no,
Baltimore anytime soon.
no, because you're right. It was the exact same play, exact same situation, and it was a thing of beauty. And like Phil said, Lamar the big pick, the big fumble as well, and Lamar had like a Big Ben playoff game. Start off bad and then come roaring back, and then someone else messes up and kind of walk away with scot free. It was it was a wild finish. And Mark Andrews, my
I've
God,
never seen
it
Lamar
happened
not choke.
twice. I know, and like he
Again, he's the
is.
MVP every freaking year.
He's Mr. MVP during the regular season, but come playoff time, he can't get it done. It was like early career Peyton Manning was the same way, racking up
Is
MVPs.
it
Come
Peyton
playoff
Manning
times,
or
can't do nothing.
Peyton
Peyton
Manning?
Manning. Painting Manning, he couldn't do anything those first 8 years, kind of like Lamar, So well, apparently we have to watch out next year in the playoffs is when Lamar will figure it out. He'll go through he had 4 interceptions this year. Next year he'll have 2 interceptions, but he'll have 3 in the playoffs.
I don't know, man. I don't see this
I
again.
don't
How many
like.
times do you have the MVP
Yeah,
under center and you choke? You don't even get to the championship run. How
yeah.
many times do you have
He,
the best offense?
mhm,
I mean, a running back and a
yeah.
quarterback is never run blah 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 blah. It all means shit. It's all shit, Mike.
Harbaugh's down there choking. He can't get those guys ready and focused for the big game.
Now you know what? It doesn't seem like it's as bad as our
It's
situation, but
getting
maybe
there,
in a
man.
degree or well, once they don't win a playoff game for 7 years, then we'll talk. But they have the thing is they're bad in the
Yeah.
playoffs. They're bad. They're just not as bad as we are. We decade here. I mean, at least they win playoff games. That's step one. Couple of things here. The Ravens over 7 seasons, they have 78 wins. No team in any NFL history has more wins over a 7-year span without a Super Bowl appearance. So this, for one, tells us this is one of the biggest choking teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, Lamar. What's his deal? All of a sudden he throws this interception. All of a sudden he's putting the ball. It's got to
Taking
be
bad
psychological.
sacks.
But I
Yeah.
love it.
Me
I
too.
love to see
Me
what's
too.
going on with that team.
Yeah. It's a thing of beauty, man. Once he gets into the playoffs, he's a completely different quarterback. Too bad it couldn't happen the week before against the Steelers. He couldn't have this bad of a game. But that's Lamar in the playoffs, man. He cannot have back-to-back good games. It's unreal. It's like I said, man, we haven't seen this level of dominance in the regular season and this much ineptitude in the postseason since early Peyton Manning before he won his.
Here's one
He's
for
about to
you.
win his 3rd MVP too, and this is how he plays in the playoffs. It's mind-boggling.
Well, let me make that's a little bit more mind-boggling. In Ben's first 7 years, Ben had 3 Super Bowl appearances and he was an MVP. None of those years. Lamar Jackson in the same period of time is 3 and 5, and he was the MVP twice. So I mean, it just shows you what you have here. Again, Ben in his first 7 years, 3 Super Bowl appearances. Lamar in the same amount of time, when he was the MVP 2 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, what do we have with this guy? Is the situation have to be just right? Maybe as P is saying on the board, Dan Marino. But I listen. once this team starts stripping down and they start losing pieces and it's not ideal situation, you know what? I mean, is he going to be that guy? Is he still going to be throwing for records amount of yards? I don't know if if he's a Dan Marino or not. He's a Lamar Jackson, which he's going to do his own set of things. But at the end of the day, it's just so difficult to tell. Again, this guy has done nothing but choke so far in the NFL. He does, okay things. He ends up being the MVP, so I guess he's okay, right? But at the end of the day, when does it matter? In the playoffs, and that's the one that he hasn't been able to get done. A couple things on the board here. Phil still says Seagulls put the game on Lamar and took it away from Derrick Henry. Jen says that was so great to see. Baltimore choke, absolutely.
Yep.
P says, P, my man, what's up, brother? He says, figure it out. Don't depend on Andrews. Yeah, I listen.
Right?
I have a little motto. I have a little motto like between myself and myself. If the game's on the line, I don't pass it to the white guy. I just don't. I don't pass it to the white guy.
Right?
I don't do it on video games. I don't hope for it in real life. I want to get it to a brother, and I want him to listen. Just take my word on that, and I'm sure all of you understand what I'm saying. But a lot of times it just doesn't come out.
Playmakers.
I get it to my best playmakers, and the chances are in the NFL it's not going to be a white guy. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it right there. That's all I'm going to say. I will give it.
If you're not wrong, you're not wrong.
And that's the thing. I'm not wrong. You're right. I mean, come on. What is this, ice hockey? Hey, what's up, Derpy? What's up, Derp, man?
What's up?
Not too much, man. Big day for Derpy. This morning, Derpy's college football team wins the national title last night. And Derpy, you did do very well in picks again this week. You may just have won. And if you did, what that means for the rest of the season, because the picks do continue all the way to the very end. So I'll get more into that, Derpy, shortly. But I'm glad to see you back, Derpy. Did you enjoy the college football game last night?
I partied so hard, I forgot the show was today.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I could just imagine. I didn't even bother you because I seen you didn't even text into the group text, and I thought, you know what, he's got to be a nervous wreck. Ohio State's playing. It was never really a game, so I mean, I don't understand why you would have been too worked up. But I know how you guys do. You Big Ten guys, you worry so, and all that worrying didn't even matter. Derpy, your team wins. Who did they beat? They beat Notre Dame 34-23. To take their national championship. And Derpy, you got to be so excited about that, man, because you go on and on about this Ohio State all the time.
It only cost $20 million.
There you go.
Right? You're not wrong. Hey, that's what it takes, man. That's what it takes.
Some teams can't afford to pay anything. Other teams can afford to buy championships, but that's fair. Phil still says both college teams that I hate. Boo. P. Morton says all Andrews had to do was catch the ball that was in his hands and fall. You really can't make it more simple than how it was set up for Mark Andrews to tie that football game, to make it go on further and possibly win. But that didn't happen. Of course, Buffalo does win again, 27-25. I love this. I love this.
It was the same play. It was the same.
It was the same exact play. Same play, Derpy. It's unbelievable, almost how similar. Speaking of the Steelers, let's talk about some Steelers here, guys. Here's an interesting thing that I sent out the other night. So let me see if I can find it. All right, so Damar Hamlin in this playoff game the other day, I don't want to say that he outperformed Minkah Fitzpatrick this weekend, but let me read you what little Damar Hamlin's doing in Buffalo. He had 8 tackles. He led the Bills in tackles in his big game this past weekend against the Ravens. He forced a fumble. He caused 2 tackles. He had 2 tackles for losses and 1 sack. What I'm saying, I'm not saying Damar Hamlin's better than Minkah Fitzpatrick, but what I'm saying, we're paying Minkah Fitzpatrick a lot of money to do no producing at all on this defense, and I mean it's been minimal, to say the least. But yet you could get a guy who's you could pay him nothing. This guy out of Pitt, I mean, come on, he's probably not getting paid that much money. And, he's up there making these big plays. So what I'm saying is moving forward, everyone's going to say, well, what you want to get rid of Minkah? You want to get rid of this person if you want to, accumulate money to pay an offense? Well, it just goes to show you, your guy doesn't have to be the top paid guy in the league to I mean, again, what did Minkah do? this past game, and a guy gets paid a ton. DeMar Hamlin, again, 8 tackles. He led the team, forced fumble, 2 tackles for losses, and a sack. I mean, this guy went above and beyond. This is kind of what you expect from your guy that gets paid the top money in the league. This is what I'm saying. Guys, and let me give it to you this way. And this is before the game, so this number is incomplete, but this kind of gives you an idea. Minka had 96 tackles this year and 1 interception. 96 tackles, 1 interception. And DeMar Hamlin, guys, 89 tackles, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and
he basically had the same season. What's that?
And he
basically had this
14.
Yeah, the guy had the same season. And as I said, this guy is a safety out of Pitt that you could probably pay, the bare minimum. Again, they afford a pretty good quarterback up there. They afford a pretty good team up there, and they're making it happen. So maybe, just maybe, guys, maybe it might be time to start sending some of these big names down the road to, change to conform the way that the league is if we ever plan on winning again, Mike.
Yeah, we have to start spending money on offense. It's the name of the game. You're watching these games, not a lot of defense is being played. Timely plays are being made. You're spending smart money on players for your defense, and you're seeing those guys make plays. And yeah, you got to start shifting money. You can't be having the highest paid safety, having the highest paid outside linebacker, having one of the highest paid, defensive linemen in Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka.
Cam Hayward
and giving up those exorbitant amount of points in the playoffs. You got to be able to start scoring. You got to put money into the quarterback. You got to put money into at least into your skill position players, and that's where that money's going to have to go. And you're going to have to find guys who can make plays later in the draft. And we're starting to see that from Omar Khan and Andy Weedle. They're starting to find guys. So let them do that. Let them go out and make good free agent signings. Deshaun Elliott, we got him on the cheap. That was a great signing. Now, if they can do that again this year with a free safety and flip Minka for something, that would be a smart move, smart allocation of resources to use money to go after a wide receiver.
And as you mentioned, Deshaun Elliott, let me just put these numbers out real quick just because I have them in front of me, Mike. Deshaun Elliott had 108 tackles this year, 108. 73 of them were solo tackles, 6 passes defensed, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and a 70.2 PFF. No doubt in my mind, I want Deshaun Elliott back in this defense, Mike. But as you said, some of these other guys, they're just sponging up way too much money. And listen, if Minka was having an MVP season or even really doing anything, again, he had that 1 interception that was memorable as far as splash plays go, which is why we brought him in, which he did plenty early on. So, I mean, he's totally capable. So whatever's gone on with this guy for the past 2 years, again, we just might be paying a little bit too much money to get the numbers that somebody else is getting for almost nothing. Again, we want to bargain like we do at the quarterback.
Yeah,
you're gonna get what you pay for. But in this situation, again, and I'm not, DeMar Hamlin's far from the best safety out there. He did make the Pro Bowl, but he's far from the best safety out there, and he's able to make these games. Why, Mike? Why is our guy that came through the Alabama system? Why is our guy that was a good pick? Why was our guy that did a bunch of amazing things? Why has he been invisible for the past 2 seasons? And why do we continue to pay him?
Yeah, you can get like a player like DeMar Hamlin. He was only making $1 million this year. He's still on that rookie contract. You can get guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round that you're not going to pay a lot that can step in and play. You can find guys in free agency that can play less than what Minka's making. But like Jen said, do you really think Tomlin and the Steelers are going to change the way they play, or change their ways of paying the offense? I don't. This franchise still seems to think you got to play solid defense and good enough offense. When that's not the case, you got to be able to play good offense with good enough defense. He's timely defense. I'm not saying get rid of all the star guys. If you want to keep TJ around, keep him around, but you got to jettison Cam and Minka and spread that money around. I see people wanting to trade Highsmith. He's a guy I think we should keep. I think he's the one we should keep. I thought he got paid too much too soon, but year over year he's getting better and better. That's someone that I want to keep around. But the thing with him though is he's getting that injury bug. Same thing that like TJ had the injury bug. Minka had the injury bug. It sucks. You got to start moving on from these guys at some point.
Jen brings up a good point.
And she always does. So does Phil.
Go ahead, somebody, if you want to read it.
I was gonna say, let's see, Phil, after taking a deep breath and just punch the crap out of the bag. Okay, let's just go until the standard comes
Do you want
to
I
the
should
end.
read it?
Or Rooney, Tomlin, Khan, make your moves. Here we go. Yeah, like that's what it's gonna have to be. Just let Omar Khan. I'd let Omar Khan just run the front office, put a team out there and go, here, these are your players. You figure out what system you're running because these are the guys I'm getting you because they can ball and coach is coach.
Jen says, "Do you really think Tomlin will change his ways and pay the offense?"
Yeah, I read that one, Derpy. We talked about that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
I'm so
way to listen. Way to listen,
I'm
Derpy.
so out of it from that game last night.
Oh,
So
yeah, Derpy's hung over. I think he had one too many apple juices last night.
no, I ate too much food. I'm in a food coma.
9. There was
He's lagging.
Oh, Ryan, you're lagging, bud.
there was 16. There was 8 games. There was the
Oh no.
Washington game, and then there was
Oh,
8 more games. Is it better?
He's lagging so
Is it
bad.
better?
yeah. No, you're still lagging there, bud. You might have to log out and come back in. But anyway, Derpy.
Anyway,
I don't know either, bud, but yeah, you're lagging.
I can give you a boom. There you go.
There you go, Phil. All right. So, Derpy.
Yes.
Derpy. We'll wait till Ryan figures out his stuff. What about this national championship last night? Your Ohio State Buckeyes. Me as a Penn State fan, I think I called this midway through the season that Ohio State's going to fall back asswards into a national championship, and I called it. And you were worried all year, weren't you?
I was. I didn't think Brian Day could do it. I mean,
Neither did I. But the talent that they had, there's no way they weren't going to make it that far.
right.
That was a really good team. Of course, you got a lot of guys though that are going to be going pro, like Judikins, Henderson.
I think those are
The wide receiver, Ibaka is going to go. Yeah, like it's going to be interesting how they rebound next year, how much money they're going to spend to rebuild. But you do have Jeremiah Smith coming back.
Yeah.
He was just a freshman.
Yes.
Yeah, that dude is a beast. Another 5 catches, 88 yards.
It would be nice to get him as a receiver.
Oh god, we got to wait 2 more years till he's eligible to come in. So
we might be in position. You never know.
You never know if we keep taking, if we cannot get a good quarterback. Yeah, and we saw that in this playoffs. Like you need that. Like Ryan is always saying, we need that good quarterback, and this playoffs prove that you need a good quarterback.
All right, guys, let me get back. I apologize about that. Mike Williams now. He had 13 targets. 13 targets.
Yeah.
He caught 9 of them. Now, mind you, again, this is week 9 of 18. Mike Williams he had 13 targets. He caught 9 of them for 132 yards, a 14.7 yard per catch average, and 1 touchdown. Whose fault is it that he didn't get used more? Is it the quarterback? Is it the fact that he couldn't see over the line? Is it the offensive line because they couldn't block for the quarterback long enough for guys to run routes? Is it whose fault is it, Mike? Because to me, this was a perfect opportunity to take to take advantage of the fact that you finally have a number 2 receiver in literally in 8 games, 13 targets, 9 games. I'm sorry, 9 games, 13 targets. Come on, 9 catches, 9 catches in 9 games. Whose fault is it, Mike, that this is how it played out?
That's the fault of the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, because you would see him out there early in the game, and he would just not throw to him. He wouldn't throw to him until he was wide open on one of those deep passes. Arthur Smith would not be didn't play him enough because the way he would rotate in those receivers, you got to get him in there more often. have the packages for him. You saw what he can still do at this age. That's on the offense coordinator and the quarterback. You have to get him the ball. And he was that guy that you start feeding him. Guess what? Defenses are going to go to that side, and guess what? That's going to open up Pickens even more. But apparently there was that disconnect in the game plan between Russ and Arthur Smith. To me, it falls squarely on those two because when he's out there, you gotta hit him, or at least let that guy draw coverage to hit other guys, and he really wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw it on the pile of things that we haven't really done well over the past 5 years or so. Just adds to that pile. The pile is getting bigger. When will it
Yeah,
stop? I don't know. I have ideas and things to do, but you know what? I'm not the guy with the money. I'm not the guy making the decisions.
yeah.
Uh, let's see what else. PFF, the most improved player for the Steelers. Does anybody want to take a guess who the PFF says is the most improved
Ooh,
player for the
the
Steelers
most
this season?
improved player.
Now you got to
I'm
remember
gonna
this
go
is
with
PFF.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Calvin Austin. To me,
Calvin
he was the most
Austin.
improved.
Derpy, who do you think that the PFF picked to be the Steelers' most improved player this year?
What's his name? Our lineman. We just drafted him.
Frazier, McCormick.
Frazier.
This is the most improved player. So, okay, I see what you're doing. Well, they're both incorrect. And what's up? Hey, there's your dude, Mike. We all free. He says, "Thank
Asshole.
goodness you're back." Just one. Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Mike Derpy, guys, the most improved Steeler player this season, according to PFF, which I think this person was certainly improved, but I don't know if I would ever say this. PFF's most improved player for the Steelers this year is Darnell Washington.
Huh?
Again, PFF, you just got to do
I mean,
what
I
you
can
can.
see it, but huh?
Again, the most improved player. I certainly think that he improved. He got more opportunities and more
Yes.
chances. So there's no two ways about that. But the most improved on the team, I don't know. Who do you guys think on the board as
I don't
well?
know.
John saying Frazier.
For me, I'm going to take it from like last year to this year. I still say it was Calvin Austin. I thought he made the biggest jump. We saw him, just go over the middle more, take more shots across the middle. His route running was better. His catching was better. I thought he improved the most. Darnell Washington, you saw it early on when they were hitting him on those quick little out routes
You
that
could
they all of a
throw.
sudden stopped hitting. His run blocking, it was already. I'm sorry, it was already top tier for a tight end. So I think he couldn't get better with that. I don't think he didn't go more consistent with that because I think he's already one of the best best in the business at that part of the game. But he only caught the ball like 12 times. It felt like So I don't know how much he could have improved.
I have two names.
Good morning, John. Go ahead, Derby.
Herbig and Benton, maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe Herbig. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Benton
Maybe
didn't take the big jump that we all thought he did, but yeah, he
I
improved
kind
the
of thought
ball.
that
He's out of
Herbig stayed
position.
about the same.
Yeah.
I'm happy with Herbig for what he is. He's a backup in the plays he makes, but I think he's roughly about the same as he was. It's hard to say. To say the most improved, I don't know.
I don't think
19
he's had
catches,
anybody.
200 yards, and a touchdown. I'm like I get it in a small sample size. When he caught the ball, he looked better. He looked more fluid in his running because when he was coming out of college, he looked really
Yeah, you
stiff
kept
and
telling me he
awkward.
was like a stick man.
Yeah, like this way he ran, it felt awkward, but he got a little smoother in his route running and his after the catch stuff. But I don't see it. I don't see how he was the most improved. I would take someone like a Calvin Austin. Would be the most improved.
John says, I think Ryan will run a marathon before Tomlin changes. That is very possible, which is never going to happen. So, also Phil says, guys, I see other offenses. They do motions, formations. I don't see none of that on us.
Yeah.
You're right. Boy, do we look like a Mighty Mites team when we play, don't we? What the heck what do they practice all week? What do they do?
Like
What do
we
they
haven't
what does
had
this team do from
we
week
haven't
to
had
week while they're preparing and practicing and getting
we,
ready for the next team? What are they doing?
we haven't had an offensive coordinator run a motion since Radney fucking Fichtner. Like for
John
being serious.
John says the derp chirp. I like it. Phil says, seriously, I'm finding out where Derp's den is, and I'm gonna blast that darn smoke alarm.
Hell yeah.
And John says, Derpy, is it your hot aunt to work day? You know what? You know what I found out, guys? Peaches isn't the only one. Yeah, Mike, Peaches.
What?
Yeah. Derpy's Aunt Peaches has a twin sister,
Oh
Fanny.
no.
Yeah, I swear to you, there's Fanny and there are Peaches, and the only way you tell them, the only way you can tell them apart is Peaches actually has all of her front teeth. Fanny is missing a couple, and that's
Oh my.
yeah. So you get a double. It's a double deal, guys.
You
Steele,
get a
John,
twofer.
anybody that goes to try. Yes, it's a twofer. It's an Ohio twofer. You could get either. We all know, of course, we all know about Peaches, but again, I just
Oh,
found out about this Fanny, and
Fanny.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, that's
Man,
right.
or like with if that's her sister, peaches. I thought of it, like peaches and pears or peaches and
Oh, that's
strawberries.
weird.
And peaches and Fanny. Okay,
Fanny, yeah.
okay.
Well, it's with the PH, so it has that
Oh,
similarity. Yeah.
Twinkies.
Oh my.
What else we got going on? Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't with you people. You
Of
guys are
course, the
nuts.
statistic everybody's heard on social media. As a matter of fact, I even think I heard it on the game at the very end. Peaches and Herb, I like that.
Ooh,
Reunited in it. But the
there's a
Jaden
harem.
Daniels and Big Ben are the only two rookie quarterbacks to have 14 wins
Mm,
in their rookie season. Jaden Daniels has an opportunity to slap the fanny.
the
Uh,
Fanny.
Jaden Daniels doesn't have an opportunity to slap the fanny.
Yeah, he
Uh,
might.
but this is the opportunity, Mike. He can pass Big Ben. He can have the best season by a rookie
Yeah,
quarterback ever. But you know what? Is all of all the guys that I don't want to see well, the guys I do want to see well, this guy's really grown on me, and I would not have a problem with Jaden Daniels doing that. To be honest, if he passes Ben and wins
yeah.
15 games, I don't have a problem with that. I like
I
this
don't
kid.
either. I do too, man. I like. Uh, God, watching him from his last year in college and through the whole like draft process and watching people break down his film, you can just see that this kid can ball out. And it was like, can he absorb the big hits? Like in college, he let himself get blown up. He limited that this year, and his accuracy this year was insane for a rookie quarterback. This kid's going places, and if they happen to, Jesus Christ, the comment section, I got to turn it off on my screen for a second, so I can't see it. These guys are making me laugh too much, but if this kid, can take this team to a Super Bowl, and not only is it the greatest rookie season ever, it's going to be one of the best seasons ever for a quarterback. And it just, because he's a rookie, it would not just be the best rookie ever, but it would have to be up there in quarterback lore as one of the best ever to come in as a rookie, lead that franchise to a Super Bowl, and not even a win on top of it. That would be the cherry on top.
It's very
What
unfortunate he
else?
went to Washington though.
What's that, Derpy?
I said it's very unfortunate he went to Washington though.
You know what? I like it. I'm good for them. About time, right? I want to see that rematch. I want to see Super Bowl 26 rematch. Bills and the Redskins. That's my picks, guys. That's what I'm going to be taking.
Is it?
Speaking of the
Is
Redskins, my more connections here. Speaking of the Redskins, Dan Quinn has won more playoff games this season than Mike Tomlin in 5 playoff appearances. Um, just more piling on anything that anybody has with an accomplishment. You could just throw it at
Mhm.
Mike Tomlin and say, "Well, this guy's done this, and your dude hasn't. This guy's
Yeah.
done that." Is there a chance that? And again, I mean, the guys have pretty much answered it in the comments. Is there any way that Mike Tomlin will change? Is he gonna, is this gonna be the way that this team is ran? Wow, it's this group of people, this coach, this GM, these owners. I mean, what
Uh,
can possibly happen to make things better that will work?
the only thing is, like, it has to come on from top. Rooney wanted this team to be more physical on defense, a more ground control team, and that's the team we put
Which
out
is
there.
fine if you could do it
Until
well.
until the owner says, "Hey, no, that we're going to change. We're going to, become more like everyone else and have these high-powered offenses, and we're going to sacrifice on the defense." We're still going to have put the same team out there. You know, he has his boss he has to answer to. He has to answer to the owner if the owner, wants this type of team or roster constructed in a certain way, the team to play a certain way. He has to go out there and do that until the owner says, "Hey, this is what I want to see. We're still going to get the same. This is what we're going to get.
So there you go, guys. I mean, every day we do kind of lay out the groundwork of what possibly does need to be done. Whether or not the Steelers make these decisions, make these calls, it remains to be seen. At some point, we do have to conform, I guess you could say, to the rest of the league. The teams that play the style that we play just don't win the Super Bowl anymore.
Yeah.
And as I said, even go back through the years, it is few and far between. When you're looking at Tampa Bay's defense in 02, 03, when you're looking at Baltimore in 2000, you're looking at the Bears in 85. Those kind of teams do win, but again, it's hard to stay consistent and win consistently with those teams as you were able to do back in the day because the league just hadn't gotten to where it is now yet back then with the passing game. It was a lot better to be how the Steelers were built in the 70s when in fact that's the total opposite of how it is now, Mike. I don't know if this number is true. Tell me Derpy, Mike, tell me if I'm wrong, guys on the board. But I just read this before I came on, and if this is true, it's mind blowing. And if this doesn't give you the answer, I'm talking about the answer, guys. 15th year in a row, either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes will be a part of the AFC Championship. Is that true? All the way to the season after the Steelers lost the Super Bowl has been a Brady or Mahomes AFC Championship team.
With one other in there, with at least one of them in there, I think that is right. Just going off the top of my head, that sounds about right.
So from the Steelers' loss, the 31-25 or whatever it was, no, there hasn't been an AFC Championship game that has not had either Brady or Mahomes. So and listen, I know it's not easy. I know everybody just can't run out and get that guy, but you see who's winning. Do what you got to do to figure it out.
Yeah,
do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's what Colin Cowherd said. If you think a certain quarterback's your guy, you mortgage your team to go and get that guy and build around them in the future. That's if you think one of these quarterbacks is that guy, you should consider it. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are that guy, but say next year if one of those quarterbacks in this class is going to be that guy, a Mahomes type guy, Josh Allen type guy, a Manning type guy, Brady type guy, go do what you got to do to go get them, and let chips fall where they may after that point. But real quick, talking about the Steelers offense getting more modernized. Remember when Todd Haley was in town? We had a quick, passing game offense, which what you see a lot in the NFL now. I remember Steeler fans, local media, national media going, what are the Steelers doing? This isn't Steeler football. You need to play tough physical defense and run the ball. So my concern is if we try and modernize the offense and it doesn't work out the way it does, is everyone going to bitch and moan that we're not a running team again and not relying on the defense? Because I remember this happening under the Todd Haley offense.
If you don't want a playoff game, people are going to bitch and moan about everything. At this point, I think that's the big monkey. You got to get that off your back before anything. You got to figure out how to win a playoff game. It is kind of, I mean, come on. Even bad teams win every once in a while. And, we don't like to consider ourselves a bad team because we're generally not. But again, this is the longest period of time between playoff wins in the history of the Super Bowl era for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
So definitely something to keep in mind here. Let's see. John says getting the new QB with his coaching staff is a mistake. New philosophy and OC first. Let him find this guy. And he also says the Steelers ass slapping left Boston and went to KC. Guys, what do you do? Whatever it is, listen. We're a bunch of sports fans. We're sitting around, and again, we're throwing. There's not much we could do.
Yeah.
But the people that are in power, the people that are in the positions, the people who get paid a lot of money to make the calls, they sit in little rooms and figure out what it's going to take to win. The fact that they haven't even attempted to look at that guy, or again, we've been in that purgatory. We maybe just need to lose some more games for once. But we are going to continue, I think, guys, to do the same thing. I keep saying that we're probably not going to be re-signing Wilson, but we're probably going to be re-signing Fields. So what does that mean? Fields is our starting quarter. So are we, Mike, are Derpy? And I want to ask you too, because you are a guy that is a fan of Fields. Were you satisfied with what you've seen from Fields last year compared to what you've seen with Russell Wilson? And do you think that Justin Fields can be the guy that everybody's looking for now, or do you think that he's just another can that's going to be kicked down the road? Derpy, I'm going to start with you on this because you are a Justin Fields guy. What do you think about this whole Justin Fields situation?
I think that he really didn't get that much of an opportunity, but that's just me. Um, I liked what I saw from him, and then they just pulled him
I just hear
for
it's not a
Russ.
really, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but the term that was used that I read is he has a low football IQ. They said a bunch of good things about him: his feet, his legs, his athleticism, his strong arm. But the one thing that scares me is the comment, that's between the ears. I think that's one of the biggest parts of the game. That's one of the biggest parts of any game. That's why Tom Brady was so good. He was his football IQ was through the roof.
Yeah, like I think I said last week too. Like, what separates people like him and Kenny Pickett from these other guys that are top tier starters is that football IQ. It's that reading and reacting and processing the information in a fast manner. Because you see we saw both these guys not see the open receiver because they're locking on to their
Yes.
number one for so long, and then it's boom to get to the check down. They're not processing that information fast enough. Where you watched all these quarterbacks in the divisional round, every single one, they're moving on from their guy, going down their
Yes.
progressions, and then they boom, and they're throwing with anticipation. That's why these guys are elite starters. That's why the guys that we've been throwing out there, like Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, they can't do that as fast and as consistent as those guys. And these are the results we're going to get. But when they do it, they show flashes of it. You're like, oh my God, this is why we should have this guy. But it's too far in between. But I think with Fields, though, with his legs, he can add an element to the offense that can keep defenses off balance. And for me, he's not the guy. He's the bridge quarterback to where you can, until you get your guy, he's the one that's going to be your quarterback. But again, we're going to be in purgatory with him because he's that quarterback that's going to get you 8-9 wins a year. And we're going to be in the same situation.
You're saying he's the perfect Tomlin quarterback.
Yeah, he's the perfect Steeler quarterback for what they want. Just go out there and get you enough wins to have a chance to get into the playoffs. And then if you win a game, awesome. If you don't, oh, well, we'll just kick it down the road.
Yeah, I think I agree. Again, I don't. There was a lot that I liked about him. There's a lot that I liked about him. Derpy, you tell me why Mike is wrong.
Because he's younger. He was younger than Russ. He has better legs than Russ. He really didn't get the opportunity. I mean, the 2 games that he lost, I would personally blame the defense more than Justin Fields because they couldn't get the stop they needed, and then they just pulled him. But that's just me.
Let's see what John says on the board. He says he scored the highest and off the chart on the QB test. 135 is the NFL record for Fields. The paper test doesn't translate to game speed or schemes. That's why teams are frustrated with him.
Yep.
Phil says, let the kid play. You know what? I mean, guys, this is what you're going to get.
Just throw him out there.
And this is going to be what you listen. This is going to be this is going to be your quarterback next year. It's not going to be much different than it was last year. He's got a 4-2 record to start. Wilson came in, took over, did very good. The last final 5 games of the season didn't go so well, so we didn't get that chance to look anymore at Justin Fields. But to be honest with you, from what I saw, in theory, the defense won't get much better moving, at least into next season, because the defense did really well. To the point, listen, the first half of the season, we did really good. It was a good first part of the season. Justin Fields won a lot of games. The defense kept good teams to a low score that allowed us to win games, and Justin Fields to score more points than them. I don't know. Is it gonna improve with this guy? Again, some of the things that Mike talked about, the mechanics, just the natural workings of a quarterback, the things that you see when you watch him that you don't write down on paper. The things that you see when he steps to the line, the decisions you make, the going through his progressions and getting the ball to the right guy. Those are the things that seem like they're going to be a struggle for Justin Fields. And aren't those kind of big things if you are a NFL quarterback trying to win a playoff game? So, again, I don't know if he's going to be the guy. I think somebody said the other day the Cordell 2.0, which is that's kind of where I lean. But you got to remember, Cordell did get us to an AFC championship.
Yeah.
Granted, he did throw 4 interceptions and fumbled the ball, but you know what? Those seem kind of typical for a player that is not really a pocket quarterback. He's doing a lot of things, and you see that Wilson did put the ball on the ground at least a few times when he did play this year. So again, guys, I agree with Mike. I don't totally disagree with Derby, but I just think that he's more of a bridge player. I don't know if this is going to be the guy that's going to take us on a deep run to the playoffs unless there's a huge improvement. Not saying that he's bad, but I'm just saying you get these, you're watching a guy like when Kenny played here. He's not a bad quarterback. He was a Heisman candidate, but when you come to the NFL, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
And you not only have to improve your physical, you have to improve your mental. You have to improve everything. And that's the one thing I worry about Justin Fields. But we will see, I guess. And I think he will be the starter on day one next year, Mike, unless something super crazy happens between now and then for the Steelers. I could honestly say that I think that Justin Fields, I think they feel that they owe him. They feel that he did good to start. They feel that they named Russell starter, and they kind of screwed themselves in that way by having to make that decision when they made it. So I say Justin Fields is the number one. But again, I don't know, guys, if we're going to see much of an improvement. Maybe a game, maybe 2 games. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that was their plan all along when they brought both here. Like, it was for Fields to actually sit for the year. He was not supposed to see the field at all. But, the training camp injury to Russ afforded them, 6 games of Justin Fields to get out there to see what they have. And I was just, looking at his passing charts. That first game, nothing across the middle. Then slowly they worked stuff to the middle of the field, which is what you want to see out of that offense. But, the completion percentage and the yardage on some of those games is not there, but he had other games where 25 of 32, 245 yards and a touchdown, 22 of 34, 312 yards, 1 passing touchdown. So you can see glimpses of what you can have, but like you said, we saw that with Kenny, we saw that with Mason Rudolph. Can they do it consistently? For me, Fields is kind of like in that Gardner Minshew type area, that guy that you can throw out there for about 3 weeks will get you a couple wins, and after that, you're getting back down to that baseline. And these guys can start, but they're not consistent enough to be that threat. But let's see what he can do with a full offseason as being the number one, sitting behind Russ, see if that helped him, sometimes you got to sit to process the game faster. We saw that with the quarterback down in Carolina, the short little dude. So maybe that's what Fields needed, was time to sit behind a vet to see how the game's played at a high level. But, he's been in the league 5 years now. It's got to click. If it doesn't, he's just a bridge player.
That's what John's saying. He says 4 years and 50 games would have shown some flashes for Fields no matter what team, coaching, circumstance. That's the thing. Nobody's really jumping up and down for Justin Fields anymore. Okay, his name was, when he was drafted. This is a quarterback that's, another one of these athletic quarterbacks you're going to see a million of come out of college. Again, he's going to have a big turnaround. John says the Steelers aren't 1 QB away. Let Fields try to build and look for the OC QB. Guys, let me blow through a couple more things here. We do want to say congratulations to TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Boz. They were all, what were they? PFWA's 2024 All NFL team. They just more accolades for these 3 guys, especially Watt, Cam, and Boz. They have seen them win every award so far. Minka, again, kind of arguing on that, arguable on that one. Mike, Steelers secondary coach Grady Brown, he was interviewed by the Atlanta Falcons for their defensive coordinator position. So maybe just another coach that may be heading out, which, again, maybe we can use an improvement at the defensive backs coach position.
Yeah.
And finally, for the Steelers, guys, Patrick Queen, he finally gets his revenge. He as they were finishing up the game against the Ravens, the Steelers last week, Roquan Smith says to Patrick Queen, "Have fun in Cancun." And Patrick Queen replied to him last night or the other night after the Ravens lost, and he told him to start getting ready to come down to Cancun. So
Yeah,
that's a
Like,
fun
I
little
got your
fight they're
flight. I
having
got
there
your
in
flight or
Baltimore.
something.
I
Yeah,
got your
I like-
flight, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
So I think that's fun. And you know what? It is hilarious because, again, these Ravens, as great as they are, they have a two-time MVP quarterback in the running for this year. He has a terrible playoff record.
Phil Rivers.
And again, in 7 years, Ben was already in 3 Super Bowls. This guy's the MVP twice, almost 3 times now, and he can't even smell the Super Bowl. So come on, this guy's a choke artist. And again, you keep stomping on the terrible towel. Things like this are going to happen. It's just going to happen to you. It's like over enthusiastic intern Caleb says. We were riding. We got Queen. We got pizza. We got the Steelers BS in the towels with the pizza on the towel. That's right, baby.
Yeah, I think I
Good
think
afternoon
intern
to you,
Caleb
sir.
might be the guy who stole all the terrible towels from John Eagle.
Wait, I don't know, Caleb. Who are you talking
The
about, Mike?
over enthusiastic intern Caleb, the guy you just read his comment.
Thank you. Now, well, no, I read over enthusiastic intern Caleb's comment. You were talking
I
about
said
Caleb.
intern
I don't know what
Caleb.
you're
I ain't
talking
reading
about.
the whole thing.
Well, that's I don't know what you're talking about. It's like
John.
it's like hearing the wind, Mike. When you say that, it's like hearing the wind. Yinzer Joe, what's up, my man? He says, I'm so tired of everyone saying give the job to Fields. He isn't the only answer. He can't handle a center snap or read fast. I agree. These are some of the problems. These are problems that you don't want to see from the guy that's probably going to be your starting quarterback. These are very fundamental issues, and that concerns me. Again, the low football IQ is the one thing that caught my attention, and it should catch Pittsburgh Steelers fans' attention moving forward as well. John says, Peaches, teach yoga on the beach at Cancun. That's right. She teaches yoga. And you know what? Fanny just made the trip down there. So it's Fanny and Peaches. Get down to Cancun now. While the football players are there. That's when you know
Caleb,
Derpy's
I
answer
will take
there.
a towel, but it has to be unused. I don't want to know what you're doing with the towels.
See, I just hear a bunch of wind blowing. Like whoosh. But if you want to read comments, we can read over enthusiastic intern Caleb's comment. You want one? I got a lot of towels, he says. Mike, I do got to move forward here, though. Of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they win last night 34-23. That was the worst team I've ever seen play in a national championship, that Notre Dame. And listen, I'm going to tell you why. They don't pass. What college team don't pass? And how do you end up in the championship game if you don't pass? This team was a weird team. I wish somebody else would have got in there. That was one of the worst performances I've seen by a losing team in a national championship. They made it look a little closer than what it actually was. But Ohio State, they do win 34-23. Even the announcers going, they're going to have to pass to come back. What are they going to do? I thought, what do you mean, what are they going to do? They're a football team. They're going to pass, right? And he's like, well, they don't pass in this situation. They haven't passed in the I thought, what? So there's that. I don't know. I guess it's fun for Derpy. That's his team. Congratulations to him on that. User Joe, I didn't mean to rant so quickly, guys. I meant to say, oh, no, you're good, man.
You're good, brother.
Did you recap the other games?
Over enthusiastic intern Caleb says Army has thrown a pass.
That's true.
Administration. Yeah, exactly. And that's what the Notre Dame looked like out there. I thought, this is insane. You got to throw the ball. It's like, they're down and they're running. And they're running again. And then they're running on third. I've never seen anything like this. I can't even believe they got to where they were. Very, very surprising. Also, guys, I do want to give the results for this week's picks. Derpy, you did win. Now, with that being said, we have to continue to do the picks because we just have to figure out how much you win. Yes, you did win. You did beat Mike on the season. Mike, you're really bad at this. But Derpy, we're going to have to continue to play through the last few weeks. We still have a few more weeks here, and we have to figure out your positioning on how much you actually win because this was for Permani Brothers food, sandwiches, and sorts. So we still have to continue. Derpy did win. Now it's all a matter of finding how much you win. So Derpy, congratulations on that. It's a big week for you. He wins the national championship. He wins the votes. Congratulations, Derpy. Mike, you want to congratulate Derpy?
No. It was all the refs'
Derpy,
fault. It was rigged against me. It was the refs' fault.
Derpy, do you want him to apologize to you?
No, it's okay. I got
No.
a shiny trophy over here, shinier than Mike's bald head.
John says, who was the last rookie to go to the conference
There we go.
championship game? Was
There
it
we go.
Ben?
It's nice and quiet
now. Or was it Brock Purdy?
Ooh, Brock Purdy it was. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about Purd.
Let's see what else. What else we got here? Pittsburgh Penguins, guys. They played 3 games since the last time we talked to everybody. They played Friday, Saturday, and Monday. They beat the Sabres 5-2 on Friday. They beat where the goalie scored a goal, had an assist, and got the win. So, Mike, maybe we don't have as much of a goalie issue as we thought that we were going to have. Again, we're sending Jari down the road. We're making this move, that move, and this guy goes and scores a goal, has an assist. I think we might be okay with this cat, right?
No. Oh, no. Ned's been a career backup, bounce around the league type guy. He's been here for a while too, but no, I mean, better than Jari, but not that much better.
I mean, better is better, right? Also on Saturday, they lose to the Capitals 4-1, and then last night they win, Mike. They win 5-1. Their next game is Thursday at Anaheim. That's a 10:00 game. Check them out in California. Yinzer Joe says any trophy shinier than Mike's head is a close race. And John says Derpy won 1 years of Bark Box Chew toys and snacks.
Oh, real quick, those bark boxes, they come through our work all the time. The sayings on there are off the chart. One of them is, want to sniff butts? Just going to throw that out there.
All right. With that being said, Mike, why don't you go tell everybody about the website?
Dum Everyone here knows it. If you're new, check it out. We got all of our links to social media over there. Got the merch store, blog coming back after the football season. Check it out, the2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, guys, let's get to this trivia. This is some more AFC. This is AFC Championship trivia this weekend. It may or may not involve the Pittsburgh Steelers, but here we go. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go.
Comment of the day, you think, Mike? With that one, you might want to have to pin that one.
Don't tell me how to do my job, Derpy.
Here we go. Question of the day. Who was the last team the Steelers faced in the AFC Championship game? Who was the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game? Take a moment to think that over. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, right here on YouTube. All right, guys, the question of the day. Who was the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game? Phil still says, boom!
Boom!
See, John says Mike would have won a year's supply of lap dances at the Beehive. Over enthusiastic and term Caleb said the Pottsville Maroons. Wheel of Steel says the Jets. Guys, I'm looking for the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game. John says Patriots. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Who was the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game? Got a bunch of different answers here. We got Patriots. We got the Jets.
I'm going to go with the Patriots.
The Patriots. Is this your final answer? All right. And what was the year on that? All right, so you're taking the Patriots. Derpy, over to you. Who was the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game? Mike says the Patriots. Phil still says the Jets. No, he says, never mind. Ravens. John says the Patriots. Mike says the Patriots. Derpy, who? The Jaguars, John says. Derpy, who do you think was the last team the Steelers played in an AFC Championship game?
The New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots. And is this your final answer?
Sir.
All right. Got Derpy locked in for the New England Patriots. Guys, who was the last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game? Mike says the Patriots. Derpy says the Patriots.
Yinzer.
A couple guys on the board say the Patriots. The Jags. The Jets. The last team the Steelers faced in an AFC Championship game, guys, was a 36-17 loss in 2017 to the New England Patriots. Yes, Yinzer, it would have been the 2016 season. You're right, Yinzer Joe. The New England Patriots, 36-17, 2017 was the year. So good job on that one, guys. You nailed that. Some good answers, though. Good job. Over-enthusiastic intern Caleb said his friend lied to him.
Caught the ball.
Blake
He
Bortles.
caught the ball.
Yeah. So that's that, guys. Anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up, Mike?
Let's go for three-peat, baby. Let's go, Chiefs. It's inevitable.
All right.
It's
Derpy, what about you?
inevitable.
Roll, man.
Just embrace it, boys. Just embrace it.
Can I say
Why
it?
is that?
I'm gonna say go Buckeyes. Mike is still bald. And go
Hold on,
Pens.
everything's freezing up here. Mike, hold on.
My bald Derpy.
Yes, you are. He's
Say,
lagging like crazy.
I am bald. I am beautiful.
This
You know, I'm everything you
making me
wish you
insane.
could be. Derpy. I am everything that Derpy wishes he could be.
I'm hoping, I hope the Bills win, but it's like, will the NFL allow it? Is my question.
Oh, the NFL will allow it. You figure though, Josh Allen gets more calls than Mahomes does. You know,
Yeah.
Mahomes. You know, people would say, "Oh, Mahomes flopped." YouTube, do a search on Josh Allen flopping. You will see so many compilations of people looking at him and Allen falls down. He's a big baby. That's why I hope they don't win. Yeah, Yinzer Joe. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier about Mark Andrews. You know, like it was like the exact same play. Drops it in that game, drops it against the Steelers. That was a thing of beauty.
I'm wanted in 4 states. What?
At least 4 states, Derpy. At least 4 states you are wanted in.
Guys, also, I do want to say this. A few things before we do roll. I particularly loved what was it called? The Unrivaled League. It's women basketball. It's 3-on-3, full court basketball.
Oh,
Caught this
my.
over the weekend. I absolutely loved it. They had women from the WNBA, Brittany Griner, all them gals were over there in the Unrivaled League. If you get a chance to check that out, it's called the Unrivaled League. It is a 3-on-3 women's basketball. If you got into that at all last year, I think you'd really enjoy this 3-on-3 league. Also, Mike Derpy, what I caught over the weekend I thought was great as well as far as other sports. I always try to keep my eyes open for different sports. The Polynesian football high school championship was on over the, and it was like 22 Troy Polamalu's running around on the field. It was insane. It was awesome. These guys played harder than I've ever seen anybody play in my life. But the Polynesian high school football championship was really cool as well. So a couple of things over the weekend that I did just kind of pick up and see. I want to make sure I do want to bring that up. I think that's going to be it for you guys. Anything else we do wrap? I do want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out and checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really, truly, honestly do. If we wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting, and everybody at home. Mike, what do you got before we roll, brother?
I got nothing, man. Everyone have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Caitlin Clark is a traitor.
Absolutely. What's that?
Derpy said Kate.
What, Derpy?
I said Caitlin Clark is a traitor. She's a Chiefs fan.
Well, what's she a traitor from?
Yeah.
She didn't actually trade
Supporting
nobody.
the wrong team.
Yeah. That fell flat, Derpy. That fell flat.
Over enthusiastic intern Caleb says he was wrong. He double checked. Derpy is 1 in 13 states. 13 states. I'm sorry. Yinzer Joe says, "Good day, fellas." Ryan, did you see good QB play? Guys, also one other thing. I know it is super cold across this country. The only place that isn't affected by this winter storm coming across the country is South Florida. So if you're in its path, if it's it's so cold here. It's negative something. And it's supposed to get colder over the next 2 days or 1.5 days, something like this. So if you do anything, do be careful when you go out. Everybody take extra precaution because the cold and the slick and the ice and the snow and everything else, and especially down south where they don't experience this often, it is going to be record snow down south. So guys, this is no joke. Everybody have a safe day. Take care of yourselves. We hope to see everybody back tomorrow at our normal time. Tomorrow, Finch will be in for the show. Wednesday and then Thursday, Derpy will be back. And so we got a lot of things going on the rest of the week, guys. We hope to see you back tomorrow again. Stay safe with this nasty weather. For Derpy, for Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, everybody have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.